It's a lot of questions and a lot of discussions on this week's Parsha in the particular area of Eliezer's mission. Eliezer was sent on a mission by Avrohom Avinu. And this mission was a critical mission. In fact, you can argue maybe, in the top 10 missions of all time, this was really up there as one of the great ones, because it was a mission for finding a shidduch for Yitzchak, who needed a wife to continue what Avram and Sarah started. They started Klal Yisrael. Avram and Sarah, in producing Yitzchak, Yitzchak Yikar Chazara, Avram Avinu started with Sarah the process of creating a nation called Am Yisrael. And this nation was going to change the course of human history. And not only that, they were the reason why we are here in this world altogether. Because when we talk about Histakel Baraisa Bar Amma, we talk about the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu looked into the Torah to create the world. And you look into Chazal, you look into the way the Gemara explains that concept, and it's many, many multifaceted levels of that idea, but the simple message is, God created the world with a vision of what this world was about, and it was about giving the Torah to Klal Yisrael. So in order to give the Torah to Klal Yisrael, Histakel Baraisa Bara Alma, the entire reason why we have a world is that the Torah should be given to us, and that we should have it, we should preserve it, we should observe it, and we should learn it, and we should fulfill its mitzvos. So you needed a partner for Yitzchak to be able to do and fulfill this mission of creating a Klal Yisrael. And again, even from Yitzchak, it wasn't everyone, because Yitzchak produced Yitzchak and Rivka produced a Yaakov and an Esav. And then it was only Yaakov that was destined to continue that lineage till Yaakov came into the world, and then it became Klal Yisrael fully, where every one of his children were embraced into the fold. And from that point on, Klal Yisrael was based on your DNA of where you came from, unless, of course, you converted. So here you have this important mission. And Eliezer Rabbi Yisai was an incredibly loyal servant. He was somebody who, Avram Avinu said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he says, I have the Mesic Beis, I have somebody who I trust implicitly with everything. What I don't have is a son, but I have somebody that I would trust everything that I have in the world with Eliezer. So the question is, if you have somebody so loyal, somebody so trustworthy, and this is really a question we get sometimes with teenagers, the truth of the matter is, right? Don't you trust me? You have to do this, you have to do that. Come on, I'm telling you this. We have this trust issue all the time. Well, I would imagine Eliezer might have had a very good argument that why Avram Avinu, what have I done to you and against you that you would not trust me to carry out this mission? You have to make me swear? You need to make a shvua? I mean, that's a very, very dramatic thing to take an oath. Oaths are not a simple thing. Why would Avram Avinu not trust Eliezer? He went to battle with Eliezer. He fought tremendous wars with Eliezer. Eliezer had access to every single bank account. It's not time to nap. Every single bank account that he possibly had, he had total access. All the codes. Everything he ever wanted was in Eliezer's hands. So now when it comes to finding the shidduch for your daughter, now you start making me swear? Do you make me swear when you put me over a $50 million account? When you had me selling and buying and selling stocks every single day, and you gave me every access code that you possibly could have, you didn't make me swear then? Why do you make me swear now? Rabbi Yisai, we see from here something very, very important. I saw a very interesting little story about Rabbi Avrohom Stulberger that highlights this point. It's a point that we sometimes, a trap we fall into ourselves. And in fact, it's an argument that I've even heard over the course of the years in this very room or in these very classrooms in this building. And sometimes we don't get it. Rabbi Avrohom Stulberger once came into an inn, and the innkeeper did not know who this Gadol Hador was, this absolute giant of an individual, not only in terms of his ethics and morals, but he also in terms of his intellect and greatness. The man was the Gadol Hador in every respect. Rabbi Salanta, the father of the Muslim movement, the one who brought the focus of character development into a new level in the mid-1800s. And when we talk about Musar, really he was the father of that whole concept of focusing on Musar. It's a whole story unto itself and a whole study unto itself. But here's the father of Musar. If you saw Santa, the Gadol Hador walks into an inn and he sits down, he gets a cup of coffee, whatever, and the innkeeper just sees a very, very respectable Jew. He didn't know who he was, but he saw his face, and he saw the Jew was this is a Talmud Chacham. Doesn't know what level, but he's a serious Jew. He says, you know what, Rebbe, he says, I've had a bunch of chickens I've been waiting to shecht. I just have never had the opportunity where somebody would come by. I'm too busy. I don't have a chance to take the chickens to the local shochet. Here, Baruch Hashem, I have you in my house. You look like a knowledgeable person. Please, can you shecht my chickens for me? Not the kind of question you ask for B'Sol Santa, but of course, being the humble tzaddik that he was, that wasn't an issue. He says, not a problem. You want me to shecht your chickens? I can do it, but just do me a favor. I'm a little bit short on cash. Could you lend me 50 rubles? Feeling, it's not related, but just could you lend me 50 rubles? He says, 50 rubles? You want me to lend you 50 rubles? I mean, in all due respect, I don't really know you. I mean, I just met you a few minutes ago, and I mean, to lend a person, a relative stranger, 50 rubles, I'd be like, I'm sorry, I can't do that. So Rousseau looked at him, he says, do you hear what just happened? Do you hear this little story? Do you see this little episode? When it comes to shechita, when it comes to eating kosher, because I got a beard and I got a nice looking hadras panim, I have a nice distinguished looking appearance, you trust me with your chickens? And I ask you for 50 rubles, then when it comes to the monetary issue, this is a whole different level. Chickens are one thing. Kosher is one thing. But money, bank accounts, fancy degrees and jobs and professional futures, that's a whole different story. There I gotta go the extra mile in terms of checking you out. I don't know you well enough, so I can't do it. What are you saying, he says to the innkeeper? What's your message that you're delivering to yourself and to your children? When you put that as a higher echelon priority than eating something that's kosher, where when it goes into your body, literally it can change your whole neshama. The Rambam was once asked a question. There was a town that people starting going off the derech, and people started becoming irreligious at the time of the Rambam. This is hundreds of years ago. Maybe close to 1,000 years ago. And they sent a letter, Rebbe, what's going on? What can we do? Should we check our mezuzahs? Should put the money in the sucker box? Our spiritual stature is wavering and it's crumbling. What can we do? He says, check the shochet. Check the shochet. See what's going on in your slaughterhouse, because if you're crumbling spiritually, it could very well be the non-kosher food you're putting into your body could be affecting you. Because as the Gemara says, it's metamtem the lave. Non-kosher, to us it's just a rule. You can't eat pork, you could eat this, you can't eat that. But when you have a greater view of what all these mitzvos are, we don't realize the impact of a day without filling or ingesting non-kosher food. It changes our whole inner spiritual workings. So, says Rabbi Sol Slanti, says, don't you get it? The kashrus, the thing you asked me to do, is way more important, way more valuable. For that, you should have 20 background checks. For a $50 loan, a 50 ruble loan? Okay, it's money. Comes and goes. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives it, HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes it, it flips back and forth. The one thing you've got in your life, says Rabbi Yisrael to this innkeeper, is your spiritual level. The one thing you take with you. And how it comes back to this incredible person we no longer have with us in our community, who really got it, if you sat next to him and just talked to him for a few minutes, you knew how special he was. But boy, did he get it. With all of the schlepping it took for a person without sight, with all of the physical challenges, whenever he could make it here, whenever he could make it to a shir, he got it straight. He knew what life was about. And therefore, Avram Avinu says to Eliezer, money's nice, Degrees are nice, homes are nice, and cars are nice. All that stuff is real nice. But you want to know what's really important? The one thing that really matters is what you take with you after 120 years. And that's not how fancy the Lamborghini was. That's not how many homes you have and how big your pool is. And how many square feet of your home overlooking the Mediterranean. That is irrelevant after 120 years. What's relevant is, did you find the right shidduch to produce Klal Yisrael? When it comes to a spiritual issue, Eliezer, I can't, it's not enough to trust you just on your word. You're a great guy. You're a great guy, but when it comes to spiritual issues, you got to go to the next degree. You got to go to the next level. You got to create that extra boundary, that extra border. When it comes to spiritual issues, that's where, if you ever sense that a school like this cares maybe more about the spiritual issues, because we do. Because the spiritual issues, I know, but the typical kid sitting in this room would say, well, what's Gemara going to get me? My English class will get me into UCLA, which will get me into this, which will get me into that. And then I sort of understand where you're coming from, unfortunately. But it's wrong. Because when you're 35 and 45 and 55 and 65, the older you get, the more you realize the money that you made and the degree that you got and all the good deals and whatever it is that you did, you know what? It's all nice, and yes, you got to put food on the table. But the spiritual strength that you show, the spiritual environment that you created for your family, Rabbi Isai, that's what you realize is really important. And people who get it, they make sure there's food on the table, but that's not what their essence is about. That's not what makes them tick. It's not what they focus on. They focus on what this world is truly important about. That's why the Chofetz Chaim's famous mashal, that the famous chicken fat mashal, you should probably heard over the years, maybe even in elementary school, where the husband who needs money and he doesn't have any money, he feels terrible, and he finally decides, he heard there's an island where they have diamonds on the street. So let me sell everything, and I'll take my this trip over to this island. And he goes to the island. He make a long mashal short. He goes to the island. He sees, my gosh, he gets off the island, diamonds everywhere. He starts stuffing his pockets with diamonds. I'm rich. I can only wait 6 months from now. The boat's going to go back. I'm going to be so rich with my family. It's going to be great. We had poverty all these years. But he's got to stay 6 months. So he goes into a restaurant. But he's rolling. I want the fattest steak you got. Lay it on, the Shiloh special, 87 ounces, give it to me. With the fried onions, the whole works. Okay? He says, okay, you got it. After the bill, he sees the bill, $117. No problem. Keep the change. The owner of the restaurant says, you gave me diamonds. I know. Gave you diamonds. You know, that's worth about $170,000. What are you talking about? I can walk outside and get 47 of these just on where my foot is. We don't take this. We don't accept this. His face started turning white. He says, well, what do you accept? He says, well, around here, chicken fat is valuable. If you have chicken fat, you can pay. But if you don't have chicken fat, you're doing the dishes for about a week, buddy boy. Because no money, no tiki, no washi. So sure enough, he did the dishwashing for a week, and he started being part of the society. And as the months went on, he completely got absorbed with the mentality that what counts is chicken fat. Because everywhere he went and everything that he did, he had to pay with chicken fat. And this guy amassed a tremendous this guy was a good chicken fat investor, and he amassed a tremendous amount of chicken fat. So when the boat finally came and said, we're going home, he says, that's great, beautiful, I can get to see my family. Load up the chicken fat, load it up. Tons and tons of chicken fat. This guy was some fancy wheeler and dealer. And the chicken fat's on the boat, and he's going home, and he can only wait. A week and a half later, you can imagine the stench. The wife is waiting by the port, and you can imagine they're smelling the chicken fat from miles away. What in the world is that? Whoa. And sure enough, as he gets closer, and the wife starts waving, and he's waving back, darling, we're rich. Oh, really? What? You have the diamonds? Oh my gosh. Reality sets in. And he realized, what in the world did I just do? I took this long, arduous trip. And all I have to show for it is chicken fat. And as the mashal goes, he scrapes the bottom of the boat, he finds a couple of diamonds. Rabbi said, that's exactly what this life is about, says the Chavetz Chaim. We come down in this world, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, it's really very simple. Amass diamonds. Don't spend your time on the chicken fat. You need some chicken fat because you gotta cook some food. So you need some chicken fat, but don't miss the essence. The essence of the diamonds. The diamonds are the mitzvos, and the diamonds are your spiritual strength. The diamonds are what you accomplish spiritually in this world. The diamonds are what you do for other people. The chesed you do. And don't be that guy. After 120 years, you go upstairs and you say, "Oh my gosh, I lost track. I lost sight of what was really important. I got tons of chicken fat for only a couple of diamonds." I say that's what Avram was saying to Eliezer. That's what's really important. I can't lose sight of that, and for that I have to make you swear, because I can't risk my spiritual destiny. I can't play with that. I can't risk that. And certainly, Shraga Silva was that kind of person. He got it. His essence was, what can I do and what can I gain from this world spiritually? No matter what, how many challenges he had to overcome, he did it. And in a way, we were blessed to have him these recent years in our midst, where he davened with us, where he came to learn with us on occasion. For us, it was a special honor. So everybody say, let's get this message. Yes, degrees are important, everything's important. But the diamonds, that's what really counts. And if we have to make our way by forgetting the diamonds, that's tragic. We don't want to be that guy. So Bez Hashem, let's keep focusing on the real bullseye, the real goal of what life is about. Let's focus on the diamonds, let's focus on the spirituality. Let's be that Avram Avinu. That's chus Bez Hashem, we'll go Michael Chal Mizach, the B'yas Meshach Meir V'meir.